Here's an interesting swing that I wanted to share with everybody. And now this young man named Brody, he's not my student. He actually works with a coach named B.W. Peterson. You can look him up on Instagram and on Facebook. And what you're going to notice, I'm going to run this a couple times, and what you're going to see is this type of swing has actually won on the PGA Tour. Matt Wolff has made this swing noticeable out in social media, on TV, and has won a PGA Tour event this year. And a lot of other coaches get credit for teaching this motion. But I got to give props to B.W. Peterson, his coach, for this motion. From my understanding, it was B.W. that actually started to work and tinker on his own game over 20 years ago and formed this type of move that really helped his own game. He's working with this young man, Brody, and also his daughter, Juju Peterson, who you can also look up, who is a superstar on Instagram. Beautiful golf swing, and there's a lot of things that you might find not mainstream in this golf swing, but from my point of view and what I see, there's a lot of things that really work, and this young man is going to be a great golfer for years to come. So let's go through what I see. First of all, perfect setup. Brody sets up beautifully here, and as he starts to take the club away, what you're going to notice is the club moves well outside of the actual target line. Okay? Now, as a coach, we really, really want to make sure that the head of the golf club stays outside of the hands in the initial move away. So this is actually a good move, and it looks very traditional at this point. Okay, but as Brody starts to go back even more and moves it back, you can see how far outside this target line it is. So if we've got a target line that's here, okay, traditionally we'd like that club to come inside a little bit and arc in. Okay, now this would be considered a very untraditional move, but let's talk about how it works. Now, as he continues to take it back, you're going to see about right here, you can see this shaft is about parallel to perpendicular to his spine angle. Okay, the club's way outside of his hands, and his right shoulder is actually in what we call internal rotation. So his right shoulder's in internal rotation in order for him to maintain that shaft angle. Okay, but what's beautiful about this, as he starts to move the club up, you can see at what we would call the P4 position, the top of his swing, you can see the club is completely vertical to the ground. So this would be his P4 position. But here's where things get really good and really traditional, and we see signs of some of the greatest players of all time. And that's from the P4, P5 movement pattern down into impact. As he starts down here, you're going to see the club drop and shallow. His trail shoulder here is going to go in to external rotation, which is shallowing the club. And at the same time, you'll notice that he's starting to press into the ground, which is moving him down and forward. You can see he's added trail leg flexion in his right leg. His left arm is parallel to his target line about this point, and the shaft of the golf club now is pointed behind him. So he's done a great job of shallowing it out. Now, I'm not an expert in the cues that BW uses to get the kids and all his players to do this move, but I understand how that shoulder is working from internal to external rotation and how his lower body ground mechanics are working to help shallow this club. Now, as you see him come into impact, you're going to see how stable his lower body is. He starts to rotate his hips out of the way. Okay? And he's got a really good impact position here. Right foot is what I really like to see here, is banking still. Okay? And up to a beautiful balanced finish. So keep an eye out for Brody, and make sure you guys check out BW Peterson on Instagram and Juju Peterson and see the good work that these guys are doing. Great job, B-Dub and Brody.